Okay, this is a nice, pretty short lesson. However, the material is pretty important because this will come back up in advanced trig and algebra. And if you forget this type of factoring, it'll cost you some time later in the future. But it's actually a pretty simple idea. We're going to factor this. There's always, whenever you do what they call factor by grouping, there's always 4 terms. Okay, do you see that? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what you got to do is look and see if we can make a pair. Meaning, can I look at any 2 of these and see that they have something in common? Oh, look, the first 2 have an A in common. And the second 2 have a B in common. And so that's nice. That means these guys are going to be a group, and these guys are going to be a group. And we're going to factor those out, the A's out. So when we do that, we pull the A out, and we end up with xy minus 4. Okay, and now we're going to pull the B out. So we're going to say plus B, and that ends up with xy minus B. Oh, sorry, minus 4. I was thinking ahead of what I was going to say. So the fun part about these is if it truly can't, not everything can be factored by grouping, but if it can, this will happen. Notice that this and this are exactly the same. So basically we take this chunk and go, oh, well, they each have this in common. So if I pull out this, I'm left with A plus B. So now I have a binomial times a binomial. And that's how you do that, okay? So what did we do first? We found commons between 2 and then factored those, and then notice that this was left. And they make it into their own parenthesis. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do example 2 and then ask that you do the practices and then check and see how you did. Okay, now I'm going to look at these and I see, well, I guess they have an A in common. We could try that. And then do these have something in common? Oh, they have a B. So I see my A's and I see a B for these 2. So let's go ahead and see if it works. If we pull an A out, we have C plus 2D left. And then if I pull a, oh, but see they have actually 2B in common. Sorry about that. You notice that we had a coefficient in front. So if I take out a 2B, I'm left with C. Take a 2B out of here, I'm left with 2D. Do you see that? Okay. And now we know it's workable because look at that. They are the same. So that is going to be one set of parentheses. C plus 2D, and then this and this go into our other set. So it's kind of nice. So it's called factor by grouping. I think it's the one type of factoring that gets forgotten because you don't, I don't know, for some reason it's not like your first instinct to see that, especially because it's 4 terms, so it kind of is a little different. Now this one, we have A here, and notice these are next to each other. Oh, so I want you to pause and then try it. So pause right now, then try it, and then come back and check, see if you did it right. All right, so I'm assuming you paused. Now we could group these 2 together because they each have an A, and these 2 together because they each have an N, or we could have looked at the first and the third term and put those together. They each have an M and a B, and the last one each has a 7. Either one will work. Okay, so I'll do it this way, the one where they're in order. That might not always be the case for you, but all right, so they only have an A in common, so that leaves with MB minus 7. And then these guys just have an n together, so that has mb minus 7. So that's nice, working for us. And now we have these in our other parentheses, so a plus n. Okay, now let's do the other one. Hopefully, I want you to do this on your own before you check my work. Okay, now I see these have an n and these have a c and a 2. All right, or we could have grouped these two. There's 2 possibilities each work. Maybe I'm going to do these 2 just to show you, change it up. I see they each have an S. So if I group those 2, I'm going to take an S and I have n plus 2c. So I've used these 2 terms. They're done. Then I'm going to use this. I see they each have a 3 and an x. 3 and an x. So if I pull a 3x out, n plus 2c is what's left. And isn't that nice? We've got this. So we have 5 plus 3x and n plus 2c. Now this line might look different for you if you grouped the other 2 terms first, or the first 2 terms, but you should have the same answer. Can these be flipped? Could you have the parentheses in a different order? Yes, you may, as long as in one parenthesis you have that and in the other you have that. All right, that's it for the lesson. Pretty easy, or pretty quick. All right.